Not long ago, the only way to keep your home heated was make sure you had enough of these to burn.
And the only way to keep cool was to open a window.
We've come a long way over the centuries. Instead of using our hands to chop wood,
We're using our hands to save time.
this week we're learning how a thermostat does more than just control the temperature in your home.
Discover how you can control the temperature in different spaces of your home.
What happens to that old refrigerator you just got rid of? We'll show you how recyclers are protecting the environment.
And they're a lot cheaper than they used to be, so why haven't you switched over to LED bulbs? Next on PowerHouse.
It used to be you only had two choices for the temperature inside your home, hot or cold. But all that changed with the invention of a nifty little gadget, the thermostat. We have to give credit where credit is due. The Romans first tried to tackle controlling the temperature of their homes over 2,000 years ago. They invented the hypocaust. It's the Roman version of a modern-day HVAC system. It was a hollow space under a floor where heated gases from a fire can warm the floor and radiate into the home. But the temperature wasn't controlled. Fast forward to 1885 when Swiss immigrant Albert Butz patented the Butz thermoelectric damper regulator. That was a fancy name for a flap that automatically opened and closed on coal-fired furnaces. That's right, older homes used to have coal chutes in the basement. Several years and improvements later, and you arrive at a thermostat that controls your furnace or air conditioner based on the temperature you set. Time keeps moving and people can now program the thermostat to change the temperature based on their living habits. A few more years down the road and we've almost made it back to present day. Wi-Fi thermostats give homeowners even more control by letting them monitor or even change the temperature in the home when they are not even there. And the thermostat is not done evolving. New advances in technology is making the modern thermostat a necessary tool for homeowners to save energy and money. We traveled to Ankeny, Iowa, to the Iowa Energy Center to find out what makes this next generation of thermostats so special. Meet Xiaowei Zhou. He's an energy efficient expert. That means he's really good at not spending a lot of money for the energy he uses.
Well, as an energy efficiency expert, I think ultimate goal for us is to reduce energy consumption for homeowners and for business. So eventually we'll get a cleaner air, cleaner, more sustainable environment. Well, it's important to me because I feel good if we contribute to the better environment. And also part of our mission for the Energy Center to promote, in general, energy efficiency and renewable energy. We know it's a long-term trend is coming, so I feel good to contribute to that overall effort to make a sustainable future and a sustainable environment.
Xiaowei likes to find better ways to save energy, and advancements in Wi-Fi thermostats is one such find.
Normal homeowners, they probably didn't know some of the tips that we can give that for them to understand why, for example, in this case, thermostat can save energy. So the traditional thermostat basically have all the features need, but most modern thermostats, the difference is one is embedded with some occupancy sensor, so it can detect whether you're home or not, so they can schedule it automatically and more efficiently that save your energy. The other aspect is these smart thermostats also embedded mathematical models. They can predict when you can shut down those equipment earlier or later that make your home owners comfortable as well as save energy.
That's what makes these thermostats so efficient. They know if you're home or not. If you're gone, they just kick into an energy-saving mode and don't pop out of it until you walk through the door. That's where you save money.
Homeowners can expect to save, I would say, between 8% to 15% of your current homeowner energy bill. That translates to about $130 to $150.
Most learning thermostats can be pretty expensive compared to a regular programmable thermostat, usually costing around $200 to $250. But many utility companies can help out with rebates. To discover what Alliant Energy has available for rebates, go to alliantenergy.com/rebate.
PowerHouseTV.com provides you with loads of energy-saving tips and ideas. But here's something you may not know. Albert Butts patented the first thermostat in 1885. The company he founded was called the Butts Thermoelectric Regulator Company. It went on to become known as General Electric, Honeywell, or the Bell Corporation. The answer when we return. Albert Butts patented the first thermostat in 1885. The company he founded was called the Butts Thermoelectric Regulator Company. It went on to become known as General Electric, Honeywell, or the Bell Corporation. The answer is Honeywell. In 1927, the Honeywell Heating Specialty Company merged with Butts's company to form the Minneapolis Honeywell Regulator Company. The rest is history.
So how complicated is the HVAC system in your home? It keeps you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. To put it simply, it keeps the cool or warm air flowing through your home conditioned to your liking. The conditioned air is pushed by a fan through ductwork that spreads throughout your home. It's not uncommon for many ducts to branch off the heating and cooling unit in your basement. As the tempered air enters the rooms of your home, it pushes other air through the return vents back to the HVAC unit to be recycled again. Homeowners have the ability to adjust the temperature in different areas of their home, each controlled with its own thermostat. For example, you can choose to heat one area of your home while providing a different temperature to another. It's called zoned climate control. It's meant to keep you comfortable throughout your house. But with new advances in heating technologies and smart thermostats, zone systems have reached a whole new level. Megan recently checked out one of these new systems.
Meet PJ Kalb. He's been a heating and cooling specialist for 32 years, and he knows all about zone temperature control in homes. So PJ, explain to us what a zone system is.
A zone system is separate thermostats in different parts of the home. So for instance, if we have a 2-story house, you could have a zone system and have a thermostat in the basement, a thermostat on main floor, and a thermostat on second floor, and keep those separate areas whatever temperature you'd like. The furnace will actually operate and open and close the dampers that go to these different areas to send air to those areas separately depending on the need. So for instance, if we have applications where it's a family with kids and the kids are playing downstairs in the evening hours, we can have that zone come up to temperature to say 68 degrees to keep them comfortable down there. When they're at school during the day, we can set the zone down on second floor if that's where the bedrooms are for the kids to save a little energy there and keep that a little cooler.
So how many zones can someone set up for their particular home, and are there other variables to consider?
It depends on the application and how big the house is and what size zones we're dealing with. We don't want to get zones that are too small to where we're not moving enough air to that particular zone.
Explain the system behind us. This is kind of a high-end system, right?
This works in conjunction with what they call a communicating furnace and a Wi-Fi thermostat. And what's nice with this system is if we have a smaller zone calling, this will adjust the dampers in the other zones and push a little air to those zones as needed to keep this furnace from overheating. The biggest thing with the zone system that we got to watch is we don't want a smaller zone calling for heat, and all of a sudden now we start overheating the furnace and damage the furnace.
If there are viewers that are thinking, okay, well, if all of these dampers are working within the system, can't I just close the dampers myself?
You do have to watch that, because if they shut them down too far, then we're not going to be, we're going to raise the static pressure, we're not going to move enough air, and that furnace is going to overheat. A lot of systems we have, when we just replace a furnace, we put what we call balancing dampers in, which allow the homeowners to adjust the dampers to certain areas of the home, but we don't want them completely shutting them like a zone system would do. But that allows them to shut them down a little bit to force air to different areas. But usually that's done seasonally, spring and fall.
Okay, and is that an energy-saving technique, or is it really more for comfort?
It's more for comfort, but it will be somewhat of an energy-saving technique, and the biggest thing, though, is comfort, to where, say, we got a lower level and it's not as comfortable down there, we can push more heat there. It makes it more livable.
All right, and once again, touching on the system behind us, is that something that can be retrofitted? It seems pretty big and complicated.
This particular system probably cannot be retrofitted if it's, say you have a 10-year-old furnace. But we do have zone systems that'll work with that type of application to make it a little more efficient and make the house more comfortable.
Let's talk a little bit about cost too. What's the investment for something like this?
Depending on how big the house is and how many zones we're going to put in, most zone systems start out around $2,500 and they'll go up from there depending on the application.
Okay, incredible technology. If you're looking to upgrade your HVAC system, be sure you check with your utility company because there may be a rebate available for you. PowerHouseTV.com provides you with loads of energy-saving tips and ideas, but here's something you may not know. According to Energy Star, dirty coils reduce an HVAC system's ability to cool your home and cause the system to run longer, increasing energy costs and reducing the life of the equipment, while airflow problems can reduce the efficiency of your system by up to 15%.
PowerHouseTV.com provides you with loads of energy-saving tips and ideas. But here's something you may not know. In 1842, Dr. John Gowrie designed and built an air cooling machine to help bring down the temperature of sick patients. Years later, he gave up his medical career to experiment with different ways to make ice, resulting in the first U.S. patent for mechanical refrigeration in 1851.
How many refrigerators do you have in your home? For many families, when they get a new one, they keep the old one. Many times, it's because they don't know what to do with the old one. They just move it to the garage and store extra food in it. Sometimes that food never gets used. The same is true for freezers. These extra appliances can end up costing you extra money every year, up to $115 extra. There is an answer. Many utilities will offer some type of appliance recycling program. Some may even pay you money to pick up that appliance. Those old refrigerators and freezers are taken to a special recycling center. Today, we're going to see how a refrigerator actually gets recycled. Let's check it out. There is a big environmental payoff for recycling refrigerators. Refrigerators manufactured before 1995 contain dangerous refrigerant that has been proven to damage the ozone layer around the Earth. Even refrigerators built before 2005 are insulated with foam that can also harm the environment. You might not know that these appliances also contain lead, mercury, and oil. The Environmental Protection Agency estimates around 9 million refrigerators are thrown out each year. The good news is 90% of them head to a recycling facility so those elements can be disposed of properly. Meet Calvin Eltz. He works at a company that specializes in recycling refrigerators, freezers, air conditioners, and more. Over 20,000 appliances annually.
So if we can get these refrigerators stripped out, doors removed, that'd be great. Thanks, Jake.
Hey, Calvin.
Hey, Megan.
Thanks for letting us come in today. This is a great facility. There's a lot going on here.
Oh, thank you.
How many things do you recycle in a year?
Well, each year we recycle upwards of about 20,000 appliances.
Wow. And not just refrigerators, right?
No, we recycle all sorts of appliances, from washers and dryers to dishwashers and stoves.
So do you have to treat each appliance differently?
Yeah, depending on what type of appliance it is, we do treat it differently. Air conditioners will go in one area, where refrigerators and freezers will go into another.
Okay. Well, we're talking about refrigerators today, so walk us through the process. When someone drops a refrigerator off to you, what is the first thing that you do?
So the first thing that we do is we actually remove all the doors, and that's what the guys are doing in back here. They're taking all the doors off so we can expose the components on the inside of the appliance. Once the doors are off, we can actually take the components such as the shelves, the aluminum inserts in the door, and pull all those out to be recycled accordingly. Once all those are out, we can drill a core sample to test the foam insulation and remove the power cord. Once that's finished, we expose the evaporator and we process it to the next location.
Great. Take us to the next location.
Sure, follow me. Well, Megan, after we remove the doors and inside components, they come onto a conveyor belt and it gets transferred to the next workstation. The next workstation, we're actually taking and removing hazardous materials such as capacitors, mercury switches in the refrigerators, and then we're extracting the refrigerant from this compressor here. A piercing tool is hooked up where refrigerant is then extracted out through a long hose and stored into a half-ton vessel, where it can be either shipped out for recycling or disposal.
And how much refrigerant comes out of a refrigerator?
Depending on the refrigerator, we could have up to a half a pound. Next, let's take out a compressor. I'll show you what's going on there. Now that the compressor is out of the refrigerator, we can remove the remaining materials such as the evaporator, the copper, the wiring.
Do you take all the metal out?
We strive to get as much metal out as we can.
Well, this is a strange sight, seeing a refrigerator cut in half.
Yeah, what we're actually doing here, this is the last and final step. So we're basically cutting it in select areas, gaining access to the foam insulation inside, and we're using our technicians to basically scrape out the foam. It's very labor intensive, but we do it because we want to go above and beyond what the standard appliance recycling typically does.
Now, Calvin, when all is said and done, how much waste are you keeping from the landfills by recycling all of these appliances?
Sure. Our goal is to recycle at least 95% plus of that unit, resulting in keeping out 5 million pounds of waste.
5 million pounds, that's remarkable.
Yes, it is.
Thanks so much, a commendable mission.
Thanks, Megan.
If you'd like to learn more about appliance recycling, contact your utility company.
PowerHouseTV.com provides you with loads of energy-saving tips and ideas. But here's something you may not know. According to Energy Star certified refrigerators use less energy and help us reduce our impact on the environment. If all refrigerators sold in the United States were Energy Star certified, the energy cost savings would be nearly $700 million each year, and 9 billion pounds of annual greenhouse gas emissions would be prevented.
PowerHouseTV.com provides you with loads of energy-saving tips and ideas, but here's something you may not know. According to Google, the energy it takes to conduct 100 searches on its site is equivalent to a 60-watt light bulb burning for 28 minutes.
Do you ever get tired of changing light bulbs? I know I do. Incandescent bulbs can burn out quickly, and they're hot to touch. The price of LED bulbs kept people at bay for years, but now that price is coming down, and that means switching to LEDs might make more sense and save you a lot of money. The LED, or light-emitting diode, dates back to 1907, when British scientist Henry Joseph Round noticed a crystal gave off a yellowish light when a current ran through it. The technology was further developed to be used as indicator lights inside equipment. In 1962, GE created the first practical LED at the cost of $262 for a single bulb. In the 1970s, LEDs started popping up in watches, and by the end of the 80s, they were being used in traffic lights and brake lights. The Department of Energy announced a competition in 2008 to spur the development of ultra-efficient LEDs. Philips Lighting North American won the competition, proving high-efficiency, low-cost bulbs were possible. Since 2008, costs for LEDs have dropped 85% and are 6 to 7 times more efficient, making them an affordable replacement for incandescent and CFL bulbs. LED bulbs have come a long way in the past few years. Many of them now look like regular incandescent bulbs, but they have some distinct advantages. LED bulbs are cool to the touch. They don't generate as much heat like a traditional bulb, and they last much longer, up to 15 times as long as a traditional bulb. And they also use much less energy, and that's the great news, about 70 to 90% less, which equates to about $55 in electricity costs over the lifetime of the bulb, and that's per bulb, so that's savings that could really add up. Now, there are some key differences, things you should know when shopping for an LED bulb. They have different color temperatures. If you like the old light of a traditional bulb, then you should consider getting LED bulbs with a warm or a soft white temperature. That's more of a yellowish type of light. On the other hand, if you'd like something a little more like daylight, then you'd want to go to the opposite end of the spectrum and get a more blue light. And manufacturers make it easy by putting this label on each package, and you find it right here on the front. Just look for the color temperature and you can make sure that you have the right color light that you want to have. Another bit of information that's different is learning to equate watts to lumens. Watts is the term used for traditional bulbs. We've all known about the wattage in bulbs, while lumens is used for LED bulbs. Again, manufacturers have made it easy on most packages. Again, they put a chart that shows you how watts can equate to lumens. If you had a 60-watt bulb in your lamp before and you like it, make sure you replace it with an 800 lumen LED bulb. But the most important thing to look out for is right here on the package. Always make sure you look for that Energy Star label. That means the brand of bulb has been put through testing that keep it in line with Energy Star requirements, and it will give you the best energy savings possible. But there is another type of common lighting fixture that can be easily updated with LEDs, and I'm referring to a can light. Now, you may not feel like you want to invest in tearing out the lights from your ceiling, but I have good news for you, you don't have to. There are LED fixtures that can replace old traditional can lights just by screwing them in. And there you have it. Easy tips on how to switch your home over to LED bulbs.
Today we learned how smart thermostats are getting smarter. They're learning to control the temperature in your home based on forecasting data and even the humidity in your home.
They learn when you are home or when you are away, giving you even more savings than you might with another thermostat, anywhere from 8 to 15%.
Splitting your home into zones can help keep you comfortable. And pair that up with new technology inside a furnace that talks with your smart thermostat, and you can save energy also.
Recycling appliances is a big job, and some companies are churning through thousands of appliances each year, and that's good news for the environment.
And LED bulbs are here to stay. Cheaper now than previous years, they still have energy-saving power and the promise of longevity. Just make sure you look for the Energy Star logo.
And that's how you can make your house a powerhouse.
Megan's Wardrobe, provided by Dress Barn.